Do you ever say to yourself, last year at this time I was doing this, almost with like an air of disbelief? Or the other way of saying that is, next year at this time, where will I be? For years, I'd felt I was missing something, a quiet clawing at a better version of me, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Just be happy with what you're given, I thought. So I ignored the thoughts because the known is less scary than the potential and endless obstacles I could imagine. But the anxiety that seeks guarantees is like driving with the brakes on. Self-doubt is your unconscious rules, holding your hand to get you across the bridge. Your rules are given as your special mission. Don't let those rules hijack your mission, and for that matter, don't give your choices away to others' rules either. So let's play a game of last time this year while I make some cookies. Social conditioning and childhood aren't the only input for our approach to life. We're born with unconscious rules that shape our worldview. These rules shape the options that we can see and the biases or worldview that we hold. My hope is in sharing another set of my rules that it'll guide you to uncover your own, to find new solutions to lifelong problems. Last time this year, we were living in another state, and we had decided on November 6th that it was time to leave that state for a variety of reasons, but all of which you could put into a bucket of quality of life. It just wasn't working for us. So we had created this list to sell our house and to find a new place to live. And that list was exhaustive and had a lot of different things in it that my husband wanted, that I wanted. And we decided to go visit one city. Well, we visited that one city and it didn't work. So that dream was gone of being able to find it in one quick visit. And my husband agreed to take a look at another city. And it was one that he didn't particularly want to go to, but he agreed to go take a look. No guarantees he was going to like it. Mind you, we know nobody in this new place. We had no contacts. So we asked our real estate agent to help us find some realtors there that we could look at houses with and tour the area. We're in the middle of the holiday season. It's December of last year. It is December a year later. But I'm in the midst of shopping for Christmas gifts, and my daughter is graduating college in 2 weeks, and at the same time I am packing the house. Now mind you, my husband has a 9-to-5 job. He's a consultant, so he goes into his office and he works. I'm the creative, so I'm making YouTube videos and stuff like that. I had a whole series lined up of astrology videos that I was going to do and so forth, and then I was going to get back to work on the novel. But you see, I have to do these videos because I have been told to do these videos by my I don't know, you could say the universe, my spiritual team. It's like I can't not do this YouTube thing. I have to, even though I don't want to. I know, it's complicated. Speaking of, so the other piece of this move was that it included my 89-year-old mother, who was not keen on moving. And so we had a lot going on. And I'm packing in between making YouTube videos and stuff like that and outlining them. I mean, there's a whole lot of work that goes on with this stuff. And I am, packing up the basement. I'm getting rid of stuff, packing, purging, donating, and then selling on Facebook and stuff like that. So I'm doing all this stuff before we go see this new place. And these real estate agents get in touch with us, and they're, finding homes that we like. We're telling them general area, kind of what we want to see, and we make an appointment or a plane trip, whatever you want to call it, to go see them. That was the first week of December. Now, all these different levers, my mom, full-time jobs, juggling 2 of them, packing, purging, my daughter graduating, who, by the way, was also going to be moving home into the basement that we were in the middle of finishing, but that plan all went to pot. And all of this stuff going on, all these different levers, my mom, the jobs, my daughter, all that stuff, was a perfect breeding ground for my rules, because it sowed a lot of doubt and made me wonder, are we making too much out of this? Is this just some kind of a divine test for us to work it out in this state, to not give up, to continue, to persist, to I don't know. Make do, maybe? I don't know. The other thing I will say that I kept hoping for, call me blindly naive or whatever, but I kept hoping because I saw the crowds and stuff that were, for one particular candidate, and she was pulling in the crowds, stadiums. And I'm like, these results can't be true. Think what you will of me, whatever. And so that little, there's always hope, kept burrowing in the back of my head too. And I started wondering, do we just need to stay? Do we just need to make do here? Can we not just be happy with where we are because we had everything we wanted in that space, beautiful backyard? The list could go on, but the direction of our state legislature was clear in its laws to defund public education and let anyone at any age own a gun. Now, the genesis of the rule, be happy with what you're given, could come from trauma that millions suffered as they went through famines over the centuries that they carried with them to their death. Imagine a dying mother begging for a morsel of food to feed her starving children, and the shame she felt for the thought of wanting that own morsel for herself. Be happy with what you're given isn't a phrase I heard in childhood. Still, what I desired and valued was not emphasized. The ask as a new soul here on earth is to be mindful of what I want in life, to feel the power of desire, and to not defer my needs to others' needs. So, of course, I did that and learned hard lessons, and I got more in touch with the human desire reflex. So could I be happy with what was given? I could make all kinds of reasons why I could, that I could continue to turn the cheek, that I could look away from this gnawing feeling inside me that life had something else planned for me and it wasn't in that particular space. While we're here, let's introduce the other rule I'm going to be talking about today. It's be nice. It's a rule that many of us people pleasers have in some shape or form. The motive behind the rule, though, is different for each of us, especially if it's on the contracting side. It's a whole different set of life experiences. For me, on the expanding side, this particular rule is here to help me open a window, though sometimes it does take a pry bar. Now, let's pick back up. My husband and I have flown to this new place. It's snowing, and a reminder from the first video, my husband does not like the cold. We look at a couple of homes. There weren't many that we could look at because there wasn't much on the market, which is an indicator for this particular town and the problems that we would face. There was one house that I really, really loved, and it had just gotten an offer in on it, so we couldn't look at that one. There's always hope. I was certainly hoping that it would fall through. Be nice. I felt guilty about that feeling. But we looked at another home that the real estate agents wanted us to look at, and it was newer, which I wasn't too keen on, and it was too big, but the layout of it was pretty cool, and it wasn't as close to town, whatever. But the reason I mentioned this house is because this house would haunt me. This house would haunt me. So we get back, and we also looked at places for my mom, condominiums and stuff that would suit her. Found a great place. So we fly back home, and my husband goes back to work and his stuff in his office, and I am, juggling the YouTube stuff and the novel stuff that I'm working on, the website, all this other stuff, and I am continuing my pack, purge, and post routine. So it was a busy season, and my daughter's graduating, and I wanted to find this very special gift for her, and I could only find this particular custom piece of jewelry that I wanted to have for her done through a special jeweler, and that was difficult to find. In addition, my mom was not too keen on moving still, so we met with the real estate agents online and had her look at this particular condominium that I thought would suit her. Now, she's not a person who uses a computer, so looking at a place online was pretty new to her and a little uncomfortable, but it met all the criteria that she had about being on the first floor, having a community, not too much maintenance, that kind of stuff. But while I'm doing this packing, purging, and posting down in the basement, as a creative, I was trying to fit these things in during the day, 15 minutes packing, whatever. But I'm stewing on this in the basement, and I'm like, why am I doing this work? Why am I moving all their stuff around, doing all this packing, and no one else is doing it? Why is it just me? I didn't want things to be difficult on my husband, right? I am more organized, and the way he packs boxes, he would pack the box absolutely to the hilt, and you wouldn't be able to lift the thing. I pack it by process, right? Where we're going to use the stuff, but I'm stewing on this in the basement, and I'm getting kind of mad. And did it stop me? No. Your rules will do that chatter in your head. You'll get angry and stuff like that, and you'll bicker about it in your head, and you'll feel injustices or whatever. But do you change your behavior? No. And I have my rules posted on my desk. I know my rules intimately. Did I know that was my rule at play? No. Did I make the psychological jump to shift my outlook so I could be happy and I could make different decisions? No. On the morning of the 19th of December, my husband got up and he wasn't feeling well. And he was getting tightness in his chest and tingling down his arm. So we took him to the emergency room, and he was there all day, got extensive tests, and he was okay. He's 10 years older than me, processes life differently, Scorpio, remember, things tend to be more of a crisis, even though he's not saying it out loud in his head. It's a crisis. And I don't mean to imply that he wasn't helping with packing and stuff like that. He was, but it was primarily me, and that was my choice. Because I could have been just as focused on doing the YouTube videos and all the other stuff I was doing, but I wasn't, because I was trying to be nice and I was trying to make it effortless for everyone else. So there's no villain in any of this. The next day, I'm baking sourdough bread. Now, do I need to bake sourdough bread if we have all this stuff going on? No. And I poured water into the bain-marie, the baking dish that you use to steam the oven. The dish explodes. It was heard all throughout the house. My husband comes rushing out of his office, and there's glass everywhere in the kitchen. I'm fine, but what an awakening. 3 days later, I'm going to a dentist appointment, right? And I'm driving down this road, and I look at the speedometer and it says I'm going 45, but I feel like I'm going 5 miles per hour. It was the most surreal feeling, kind of like time stopped. And these kind of things sometimes happen when you're getting that invitation to really think about how you are kowtowing to your rules and how to look at life a little bit differently. And sometimes it takes a brick to get through, at least for me. At least for me it does. Behind the rule, be happy with what is given and be nice, is the unconscious belief that I must dismiss my desires, that what I want isn't worth as much as what other people need. I do stuff to prevent other people's discomfort. It's people pleasing, just wrapped in a different package. Last time I shared the rules, life isn't a fairy tale and there's always hope. Life isn't a fairy tale can also be paired with be nice. Each set of rules can be paired off in a variety of ways. Integrating the wisdom offered by these different pairings is the goal, to create a more rewarding approach to life and its challenges. When be happy with what's given and be nice are paired in my life, it's a reminder to understand that being thoughtful to others' needs doesn't require me to acquiesce my own. If not, I waste my life with a lot of internal sputtering, like I did in this case, about feeling I'm a slave to others, as if testing there's a divine reward for sacrificing my desires. I had a choice, and I make this mistake often. The situations just get more complex for me, so I can face this false belief in a variety of ways and change my worldview. When you intersect life isn't a fairy tale and there's always hope, with the two rules of be nice and be happy with what you're given, there's a common theme there about letting go of control. I'm a fixed sign. I got a lot of fixed things in my chart. Fixed signs like Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, and Aquarius, we like to build things. We like to have control. We're not really good at letting go of control. But the invitation from my particular life, you might have a similar invitation, is to let go of control. For me, it's for the purpose of reestablishing faith with the divine within, to have that barometer, to know how to work beyond what are the very concrete constructs of this world around us. But those 4 rules coming together, letting go of the wheel, oh my gosh, the anxiety that produces. I've been anxious since I was a little girl. I think that could have been one of the first words I ever spoke, was anxiety. It was the reason behind my extensive self-help library and one of my favorite books, The Highly Sensitive Person. That anxiety has taught me so much. It has taught me when to listen to it and when to dismiss it as a distraction. And these are how your rules come together. Anxiety is a huge thing to overcome in life because it's really a battle between the brain and the inner mechanisms, the inner senses that know things that your brain can't know. This is the beauty of the rules. In the situations that I'm sharing here, it's my particular worldview that might say, oh, I'm sacrificing my time by doing all this. But remember, it's my choice. My daughter decided that she was going to try to find an apartment with someone there. My husband felt so much better that he had a clean bill of health. Me, I felt better because we were organized. We had our to-do list of things to get done in the weeks of December, and now we had to push out that whole January move date. But we thought mid-January we could have the pictures of the house and get the house on the market, and we now had a place to go. These were huge changes, and they affected many people in our lives. But this is what had been clawing at me. I needed a new space so I could be me in a different way, so I could surround myself with an environment that I didn't feel was toxic, that didn't draw from my energy. There's more to share, and we'll do that next time. I would love to hear if you have any rules that you think are at work in your life. If you have any questions about astrology, pop those in too, and I'm excited to get back into it.